That was your original mandate.
I know.
So the
it's like, who can't agree on the 10 Commandments?
Really?
Okay, well, I don't like that one. I really want to make graven images. Okay, give me 7 out of the 10.
7 out of the 9 and you're in.
Right.
And we said that to folks, and I think that's what allowed people to respond. So if you look at the principles and the values, individually, it's made all of us better and stronger in that year. And who doesn't think that's good for the country? And that's what I think helped us grow so quickly and grow as individuals and as a group.
I'm probably not going to have time today, but we're working, I'm working on a book that maybe will come out this year or next year. It's on, you said, look at the values and the principles. And we work on them, and it makes us better people. We're going back now, and we're doing research on Ben Franklin and George Washington, and we're looking at the way they held their honor. They worked on it. They worked hard on it. But I don't know if we have time to talk about that today, because right now, We the People, the 9/12 Project, I'm going to tell you what's happening with this for me. And underneath it, you see this black thing all bandaged up. I'm going to reveal to you where I'm going this year, and where I personally am taking my part of the project, and we'll do that at the end of the show. You mentioned the 828 project. You have this is, and I invite anybody who's in a 9/12 group to join me in Washington at the feet of the Lincoln Memorial in August on the 28th, because that's the key word. If we could just restore honor in our own lives and in Washington, everything would change. And the difference, the Tea Party was a protest. This is not a protest. And Stephanie, you said that you think that's a difference.
I do. Many of the Tea Parties tend to be very heavily issue-oriented, and that's not a bad thing. But with the 9/12 Project, for the most part, most 9/12 groups tend to be education-oriented, because the important thing is, if you know your rights, if you understand the education, the action will naturally follow. And what I've seen in the last 6 months particularly is we have moved from protests, standing at street signs with signs in our hands, to taking action. And we've seen some phenomenal things. In Venice, Florida, we have a gal, Pat Wayman, who has educated our entire state on how to become a precinct committeeman to take back the party. In another one of our counties, one of the most corrupt counties traditionally in Florida, it was the 9/12 group who forced the issue to get a nonpartisan anti-corruption league started there, and wound up putting a number of politicians in jail for robbing the county blind.
You gotta be kidding. How do I not know this stuff? People think that I'm involved in the 9/12 Project. I'm like, you're kidding me.
But there are so many things. These are just a couple.
Yeah, they don't believe
These are just a couple examples, because there are so many things going on all over the country. All of these great ideas that people are taking the education, they realize what everything is worth, and they're taking action. And even with listening to the 5,000-year leap, many people are afraid to look at history because it might be difficult. I listened to it in my car, taking my kids back and forth to school. My son's 6. We left the public school last year because they told my son he couldn't talk about God. So my 6-year-old is hearing the MP3 in the car with me and saying, well, Mama, they talked about God, and they talk about the government, and he's able to translate that into his My 6-year-old gets it. Why don't people in D.C. get it?
That's why, I tell you, that's why, I mean, I read a lot, and that's why I like this book so much, because you can teach this to your kids. My kids read this, and they were like, oh my God, Dad, I mean, this is so simple. And everything becomes crystal clear instantly. Okay, when we come back, I want to tell you a little bit more about some of the different things that people are doing, and it is on education. We go to Ohio when we come back. One year ago, I was blubbering on this stage saying, I love my country and you're not alone. And I was emotionally moved because thousands of people all around the country were viewing. And things have changed in this country so much, it's breathtaking. Joining me again, Yvonne Donnelly. She is 912 Project Chair. Also now joined by Michael Jablonski. He is the president and founder of theforgottenman.org and the 912 Project National Co-Chair. Also Eric Wilson. He is the state director of the Kentucky 912 Project and a member of the 912 Project Advisory Committee. Wow, you guys sound all official.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. All right, so Michael, let me start with you. Because you're in Ohio.
Yes.
The Forgotten Man Project, what is that?
It's actually an educational program that started as a meetup group, and you and Yvonne are actually the catalyst that started that. I started a little tiny meetup group, and we started reading The 5,000-Year Leap. And through a series of coincidences, Yvonne ended up getting me on your show about a year ago. And by the time I got home at the end of the day, I had like 300 members in my meetup group. When I left in the morning, there were like 30, but they were all over the country. And I was based in Cleveland. So I thought, well, I can't have meetup meetings in Cleveland with people all over the country. So I let the meetup group expire and started theforgottenman.org. And we started a local scholarship program in the Cleveland area to get kids to read The 5,000-Year Leap. I figured, I read it in our meetup group, and a lot of people didn't realize what we hadn't been taught, intentionally or unintentionally.
Amazing.
Exactly. And so I thought, what's the best way to get kids to read this? I thought, well, I'll bribe them with money. So, well,
Congratulations, you become a member of the federal government.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
Mr. President, how are you?
Yeah. So I figured instead of trying to get it introduced as curriculum, what I would do is offer a scholarship. So I started fundraising and went to local school districts and explained what I was doing, and they were on board. And I thought, great, kids will read the book. I've got a little committee. We're going to grade it and give an award at the end. And then I thought, well, what if everyone in the country knew how to do this? So my partner and I on the site thought, well, we'll set up forums where people can go and get a study guide that we wrote for the 5,000-Year Leap. They can get a blank scholarship application. So Mrs. Jones in Cincinnati could go to the website, download it, and go to Billy's school and start her own scholarship program. And then we also have, what else do we have on there? How to start your own book club. And how to go through and read the 5,000-Year Leap. And that was because of the two of you, actually. It is. I mean, Yvonne knows, but you don't know, and that's how that happened.
It's amazing to me how this, in particular, this audience is, dismissed by the intellectual elite as a bunch of morons.
Sure.
And yet, again, this week, A Patriot's History, which is a book that's been out for 5 years and I think sold 50,000 copies, is #1 New York Times bestseller this week. I mean, it is phenomenal how much people want to consume information. They're starving for it. Now, Eric, you're in Kentucky. What's been happening in Kentucky?
Well, Kentucky, we've been busy for the past year. I mean, we had humble beginnings a year ago. I mean, just talking about when we started. 1 year ago, we came together because we felt we wasn't alone. I mean, I was looking for a support group, pretty much is what happened a year ago. I didn't look to be a leader of a 912 group. I wasn't even looking to be politically active. I was trying to find like-minded people. But the people in Kentucky are amazing. They're the ones that inspired me, and they're the ones that's come up with great ideas. Some ideas like next Tuesday night, we're going to be doing a candlelight vigil in front of Ben Chandler's office because of the health care issue. So we're going to be coming out there. I mean, you said that, bringing pitchforks and torches. We decided pitchforks wasn't appropriate. We can bring the torches still.
Little teeny torches.
Little teeny torches.
From Yankee Candle.
Exactly.
Yankee torches. There's an idea.
So we're gathering there.
Torches, but they smell like flowers.
And then the other things we're doing is we're hosting a debate, and we have both the Democrats and the Republicans are going to show up. So, I mean, what we're doing is laying the foundation in Kentucky and hoping people, come on board and, join us.
Who was wildly out of their comfort zone a year ago? Almost everybody. Richard, real quick, what was your what was it you did a year ago that you were like, okay, this isn't me?
Well, one of the things that Suffolk County 912 Project did was to protest the mainstream media, and that necessarily meant coming into New York City, possibly going in front of cameras, and as an employee of a company, I didn't want to be out in front of cameras or anything like that, and in my community as well. I've got business concerns to consider, and to put myself in front is not something that I was looking to do, you know. But you know what this movement really suggests is that it's not about an interest group. You know, you guys were discussing it before. It's about principles and values, and really that's if you look throughout history, how people engage the political process, it's always about a niche thing that they want to get taken care of, the civil rights movement or the women's suffrage movement. What we have here is a movement, but not in the traditional sense. It's governed by reason and principle that will carry